go back in time to the year 360 BC when the philosopher Plato appeared and wrote in his memoirs about strange events that he heard about and believed in their existence. But he never told anyone about these events until he died. After that, his writings were published as myths. Plato says in these memoirs that one of his ancestors, the Greeks, visited Egypt during the period of the presence of the ancient Egyptians, when the priests of the temple told him a very strange story, which is about the existence of a city that was submerged under the water, and this city completely disappeared. This city's area is equivalent to the area of the continent of Asia. This city was in the form of circular rings if you saw it from a distance. These rings are made up of land and water, meaning land and water, and ships pass through each ring and the next. Plato says that the founders of Atlantis were half god and half human, meaning it was one body, but half god and half human. Of course, God is far above what they say, far above. But this is in their beliefs and religions, and he said that Atlantis was larger. From Libya and the continent of Asia combined, and the location of this city in the Atlantic Ocean in a specific place west of the Strait of Gibraltar, and in it are very diverse temples made of pure gold and silver. Inside these temples is a statue of their water goddess, which is shaped like a mermaid. But the difference is that this is a man, meaning a god, and outside the temple, in the statues of the first 10 rulers of Atlantis with their wives, Plato described this lost city as being outside its walls in very large agricultural plains. This large plain had a brilliant and advanced irrigation system, unlike anything else in his time. This city was full of temples and large palaces, to the point that its people reached a level of great in science and development, and they had one of the strongest armies in the world. Because of the abundance of goodness that covered this city, its inhabitants walked with gold under their feet. Even their temples had walls made of pure gold. With the passing of the years, the people of Atlantis became arrogant and began to think about conquering the world. They are the most deserving people in the world and in Earth's wealth. They began to go to different areas of the continent of Africa and Europe, invading every region that came to mind in a few hours of their greatness and power. After that, a group of Greeks called Athena decided to gather after they were scattered peoples. They decided to gather and fight the people of Atlantis because they had become tyrannical on Earth, so it was destined to fight them and defeat them. The people of Atlantis lost a lot of their wealth because of their greed and avarice. So the divine wrath came upon them, according to Plato. Of course, the wrath of the water god came upon them, which completely drowned the city of Atlantis, and it remained underwater to this day. Of course, after Plato's memoirs were spread, they sparked widespread controversy among his students, researchers, headed by Aristotle, Plato's student, and whoever denied the existence of the alleged city described it as a city invented by Plato's teacher. If the thieves differed, then I am the one who led the way. But in our current day, there is evidence that has increased the possibility of the existence of Atlantis, especially after the existence of the city, the legendary Troy in Turkey. From here, a number of researchers have folded that they are studying about the legendary city that Plato intended. Plato said in his memoirs and many details about this city, such as that it was located behind the Pillars of Heracles, which is the name that the Romans used to call the Strait of Gibraltar, which connects the Mediterranean Sea, the Mediterranean and the Atlantic Ocean. And this is the ocean in which Plato mentioned that the city of Atlantis sank. So researchers were surprised by one thing. Plato mentioned very precise information about the location of the city. So they put forward many possibilities. First, that after the city sank, parts of it remain to this day, and they are the islands that exist today behind the Pillars of Hercules. They are the Canary Islands, which are now part of Spain, and the Azores Islands. There is a second possibility in which researchers say that they searched the depths of the Atlantic Ocean and discovered through cameras that they planted in different areas of the ocean the presence of things resembling pyramids inside the ocean. Some of these scientists or researchers suggested that the pyramids are part of the remains of the lost Atlantis, which encouraged a large number of researchers to search more in the depths of the ocean. When the discoveries increased, scientists found a very strange wall in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. When they measured this wall, they found that its length was more than 120 kilometers. Here, scientists began to believe that these are the remains of Atlantis, and between those who say that these are just natural features present in the ocean, they do not prove anything. Theories have not developed about the secret of Plato's memoirs. Were Plato's words just illusions, or are they true? Of course, researchers have failed to identify these memoirs. Are they true or empty talk? And the nonsense of the daughters of the ideas remained this mystery until a scientist named Charles Happo came and confirmed to the whole world the existence of Atlantis, but not by its real name. So how is it that the theoretical fuss that Charles is trying to prove was that Atlantis is just an advanced image of Antarctica at the present time, which is the frozen continent of South America? Charles wrote in a scientific publication and in 1988. He wrote a post entitled, "The Transforming Crust of the Earth," in which he said, "This is Habu, the one who talked about all these ideas. The Earth's crust underwent transformations and changes in its shape about 12,000 years ago.